Wednesday. Just give me a second to get this set up here. Isn't it funny how Zoom does that? You like leave and for some of you who got my message, my email, sorry, my computer's, let me fix myself here. For some of you that got my email, you would know this story already, but I went and got my hair cut. I know it's a little short right now, but that's okay. But in the salon, she had this poster that said, if you can find it cheaper, we'll gladly fix it. And I almost spit out my coffee because I thought that was so hilarious. Because I thought about all the times that I was like, oh, paying $200 for a haircut? No way, I'm not doing that. I'll pay $50 for a haircut. But what happened was I ended up one time, my hair turned green. I'm not even joking. It was totally green. Another time it turned yellow. Like, I mean, the brightest yellow you can ever imagine. One time I took my daughter and she got bangs and her bangs were cut up to here. It was hilarious, right? But then I started thinking, how does this actually connect with coaching? And it really, really does, because how many times do we think about all the easy, cheap, fake solutions to solve our big, huge problems? And those little small solutions, you know, the free webinars, the free workshops, the free this, the free challenges, they're really great. They energize you. Even after like a weekend event, you feel higher than a kite. A one-day event, you feel like you can take on the world. But what happens a week later or 2 weeks later? That energy fizzles, that possibility goes away. And what's left is a little bit of resentment sometimes. Now, I wanted to share something with you. I have this puzzle, right? It's a 1,000-piece puzzle. And before the pandemic, my daughters were a week in at home and they were already fighting, complaining. They were like at each other's throats. So my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, this is a week in. What if it's like this for months? Like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I got an idea. So I pulled out this puzzle, which is basically, I don't know about you guys. If you do puzzles, like, hey, if you do, let me know. Say, yeah, I do puzzles. You know, I'm trying to open this box right now, but the puzzle pieces are small and look at the tones, grays, or like they're all pretty neutral tones, right? So we give them this puzzle and we take two $50 bills and we put it on the fridge and we're like, girls, we got a challenge for you. They're like, what? And you can earn $50. They're like, yes, what is it? All you have to do is this puzzle. Just do this puzzle in the next week, work together as a team, and we'll give you $50 each. And in their minds, they were thinking, this is like a great deal. I'm gonna make $50? Yes. So they sat down, they put all the puzzle pieces out and they were excited. They were like, okay, you do the panda and I'll do the tiger and, you know, look for those pieces. Then after an hour, their eyes went from excitement and joy to dread. And then the bickering started. You're not doing your part. How come you don't have any pieces together? You know, it's kind of like that internal judge that we have as coaches. Why can't you fit this together? Why isn't it working? All of this stuff, right? So there they are sitting at the table and they're doing this puzzle. We let them sit there for a couple hours. And then we decide to intervene. We're like, hey girls, I know you've never done a puzzle like this before, but do you want some help? Yeah, help us. I'm like, okay, first of all, start with the four corners. They're like, oh yeah, you know, they have the edges. Look for those edges. Oh, I found one. So they're working together, they're excited. I said, okay, now look for all the outside edges. Let's do the border first. And so then they started looking for the outside pieces. They separated them from the rest. They started building what we call in coaching world, the foundation. And then they started experiencing the joy again, the fun again, the challenge again. Now, they never did fully put the puzzle together because they gave up. I wish I had a happy ending to this story, but the truth is they're like, you know what? It's not worth the $50. And even that is genius, because how many of you are like, you know what? This isn't worth the $500 I'm making in a month. This isn't worth the 40 hours I'm putting into it. This isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. But consider what happens is when you're online and you have 1,000 pieces to the puzzle. Like you have 1,000-piece puzzle. You have a free workshop here. You get a little nugget here. You get a little nugget there. You have all of these pieces, but you don't have a system to put it together. Consider you've never done it before. You've never grown a coaching business before. And because you don't have a system and you don't have support and you don't have the accountability, there's a bigger cost to you than just money, just revenue in your business, isn't there? And right now, if you're listening and you're like, yeah, Tina, I want you to type in right now, what is it actually costing you? Forget about the money. What's it costing you in your life to be stuck? To know you have a burning desire to make a difference in the world, but you just have no idea where to begin, or you don't know what's getting in your way, or you don't know how to put the puzzle together. If that's you right now, tell me, what's it costing you? You know, some people tell me, Tina, it's costing me my freedom. It's costing me my self-expression. It's costing me my relationships. I don't have time to spend with my family or my friends. I'm at my computer struggling. And I get that. I know that was me. For those of you that have been watching, following, I did that for 3 years. But what I didn't see in those 3 years of doing the YouTube program and doing the LinkedIn program and all of these little pieces is that I didn't really even know what the whole picture could look like. I didn't know how to do it consistently. I didn't know what was getting in my way. And that led to my breaking point where it's like, okay, there's something wrong with me. I want you, if you are that person right now that is believing in your heart you have a gift to give, you have something amazing, but you just know that there's something missing for you. Like I had a call with somebody yesterday. I love these calls right before these talks. And she came on the call in tears. And I was just like, and they weren't tears of like frustration. It was tears of joy. Joy because she said, Tina, you're not going to believe this. I had this client and this is what happened. And this is how she transformed in 4 sessions. Like, this is the first time I've ever experienced like that. It's the greatest feeling in the world. And I'm like, yes, I know. And she was sharing like she had invested $10,000 in a program. She had invested $5,000 in another program. She had invested money. She was flat broke, desperate to really create this momentum, to keep having those experiences. And she felt like, what now? Like, what do I do? And I mean, my heart broke for her because I could see her. I remember, and I had to really help her see that her beliefs, like those things that you invested in, those large ticket, they weren't like small, little, cheap solutions. They were really expensive solutions. And that is the opposite end of the spectrum. The opposite end of the spectrum is that we pay for things in the hopes that it's going to work. And it doesn't. And then what happens is when those things, those really expensive risks that we take don't work for us, it's like getting a really, expensive haircut. I'll go back to the haircut analogy. You get a really expensive haircut and it's horrible. It's like, what would we do? Would we go back and say, like, I'm never getting my hair cut again. I'm going to let it grow out. I'm going to let it go gray. I'm just going to like let everything go because that hairstylist charged me a lot of money and she screwed up and I'm like, no, why would we do that? Right? It seems absurd, but this is what we do as coaches. And when I say I get it, I know what it's like to invest when I actually don't have money coming in. I know what it's like to go to the bank machine to take out $200 and it beeps at me because I only have 150 and I have a mortgage payment coming up and kids. Like I know. But consider that everything that's happening is part of your journey. You may not see the big picture now. You might not see the puzzle put together right now, but I promise you, when you're in action, when you're taking action, all these little pieces are coming together. They are coming together. I promise you that. I wish there was a way for me to like implant in your brain that if you just keep moving forward, I promise you, with the right actions, you're going to have everything that you want. I don't know when. I can't say the when. I can't say in a year or 2 years or 3 years, but when you have a burning desire, so deep inside of you and you're not willing to give up, I promise you that is what it takes to grow a coaching business. That is what it takes to move forward. See, when you're high, like the client that I talked to yesterday, that was just like she was on a high, like she thought she could run the world, the same way that we feel after we come back from a weekend workshop or an all-day intensive or something. We feel like we can take it all on. But then there's that dip that we all experience where we have breakthrough calls and they don't work. When we reach out and connect with people and nothing is happening, that dip is there to build the muscle. That dip is there to help you stand in your power and practice being despite the obstacles. If it was easy to be an entrepreneur, everybody would be an entrepreneur. If it was easy to grow a coaching business, everyone would be growing a coaching business. If it was easy to take action, everyone would be in action, being seven-figure coaches. It's not true because we give up. We give up before we complete the puzzle. 90% of us give up before we complete the puzzle. Now, I don't know if you're 90 or if you're 10. I don't know if you're on the verge of quitting or you're like, no, come hell or high water, I am making this work. Wherever you are right now, I want you to hear in this message, okay? I want you to get this. You are powerful beyond your means. You're probably more scared of your light than the darkness. How do I see that? Because I know coaches have had a past. They've overcome stuff. They've overcome trauma. They've overcome some of their mindset. They've done the work to get to where they are because they believe that they have something to give the world. You believe you have something to give to the world. Now your brain, that judge inside, that inner critic, it's going to tell you you can't do it. It's not for you. It's going to judge you and criticize you. You might even feel judgment and criticism from other people around you. But trust me, trust me when I say this, when you work that muscle, when you really, really stand in your feelings and your emotions and whatever is going on in your life, and you keep one little step forward every day, noticing everything that's coming up for you. Everything is available. You just got to be willing to take the action. You got to be willing to keep showing up for yourself. Keep being willing to show up for others. And my gosh, I would be lying to you if I said that like, oh, look at me. I'm in this fairyland effing world that it's so easy. No, it's not. There are days that I want to quit. There are days where I'm like, it's too hard. It's not even worth it. There are days where my judge is saying to me, Tina, you can't do this. Stop, give up. Don't put up with that fight. Don't stand for this. Don't stand. All of these things. It's like so loud. But this is what I know to be true. When that judge, when you're a new coach and that judge, that criticism, that internal voice is this big, is a giant, our job is to tame the giant so that it's a little mouse. And this little mouse, we can put in a box, in a container. We really can. But it takes something. It really takes an unshakable belief in yourself and who you are in the world. And it really takes a belief in that inner knowing, that intuition that's telling you keep moving forward. And that intuition will get louder. And that inner guidance will get louder, and that inner feeling, that inner way of being will get louder than the judge, the criticism, than the noise. But you got to be willing to do the work. Okay? I don't know if you're willing to do the work right now and you're watching live. Say, yes, I'm willing to do the work. Yes, I'm in it to win it. And it being in it to win it means you get to create the game that you want to play. You get to create your own game. Your game isn't the same as mine, and that's okay. You don't have to compare yourself to me. We're not playing the same game. It's like a basketball player comparing themselves to a cricket player. Like, why would you do that? They're different games. That's what we do. That's the judge again. Oh, you're not like that. You're not like her. You're not like him. You're not good enough. Shut that noise down. Shrink it, okay? That is the game you get to play too. Create your game. And if you don't know how to win your game, if you're sitting here with a 1,000-piece puzzle, not knowing how to put it together, and you've been sitting there for a while and you're stuck and you're no longer willing to tolerate being stuck because your mission in life is bigger, I want to speak to you. There is a link to book a call with me or my team. I want to hear what is getting in your way. I want to help you break through that. Now, one thing I want you to know about our calls, they're designed to help you have a breakthrough. Then you get to choose, stay stuck in the puzzle that you don't know how to put together, or take action. That's your choice, but we're not attached. But what we are attached to, and this is what I want you to be attached to, be attached to standing for humans. Be attached to standing for people's transformation. Be attached to the highest version of them that you can see that they can't see yet. Be that person for them and watch your business transform when you do. Because you can't fake that shit, you guys. You really can't. When you are standing for them more than your fears are trying to keep you quiet, people feel it. It's an energy. So anyways, for those of you that are here watching live, I don't know, I can't see you. Know that I really appreciate you being here. If you're catching the replay, know that I appreciate you catching the replay. And of course, there's always going to be a call to action. I want you to be a stand for what's possible in somebody else's life. Be the one. And you can even say this, if you have an opportunity to have a breakthrough call, let them know there is nobody that's going to stand for your transformation more than me. And when you say that with conviction. Be a leader that the world is looking for. Be willing to get out of your own way. Be willing to stand tall and shine your light, because that's who you are in the world. You might not see it. You might not believe it, but trust me, I see you. You can't hide from me. I see you because I am you. Okay, guys, I love you. Let me know what you're hearing. Let me know what you're taking away. I will see you back next week, same time, same place, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you. Bye now.